Hey traders, John Howell here. Today I want to share with you what's going on right now with the stock market and why I believe we're going to get the everything pullback right now. It's already happening in the Dow Jones right now. We're getting that drop in the Dow Jones. I believe the other indices are going to start to catch up as well too. I also believe that the gold market and also even the mining sector market as well too is probably going to get a drop. So the everything drop is happening. But it's also, I believe it's coming. And also what I do, guys, is I want to share with you today, I want to share with you the number one top pattern. If the stock market is going to crash, right? A lot of people are worried about when the market will crash, right? Because we know it's not a matter of if the market will crash. It's just a matter of when. Is it 12 months from now? Was it 6 months from now? So I'm gonna share with you, I'm gonna walk you through the last like 1929, 1987. I'm gonna walk you through the actual top crash patterns to show you, to give you the tools so you can understand what to look at for in the market to see if we're potentially going to start to see even more of a big drop. So let's get into it, guys. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty, guys. So let's actually get into the markets today. I also want to give you guys a quick little market update today. So one thing that is really important to me and my own trading is I look at the different moves in the markets, right? I always look at moves. So whenever the market is moving in a direction, either up or down, I look at that as an energy source. I look at the market as an energy source, right? So if the market's going up or if it's going down, it's using energy to push it in that direction, right? We're using energy to buy it up or we're using energy to sell it down. And then when the market goes quiet, when it goes sideways, not really much going on, volatility, that's what's called a resting phase or what's called a rebuilding phase, right? Because we're not doing anything, we're just resting. So I'm always looking at the market from that perspective. So what's made me be bearish on the markets for the last sort of maybe at least, especially the last couple of weeks has been this. Whenever we do have a very big move, right? So if we get a really big move like this, just say for example, we get a really big up move like this. That's a really big move and it's been a lot of energy through here. So when it comes time to going, now when it comes time to, when we've used a lot of energy, we need what? We need now a period of sideways movement, maybe even a slight down movement, sideways, or maybe even something like this here, for quite a bit of time to refuel. If we've used a lot of energy, we now need a lot of time to go sideways to refuel up. Makes sense? So whenever we understand that concept there, we understand the concept of that there, right? And this is what made me start to do bearish market updates in the last, especially in the last few weeks, is because if you look at the Dow Jones, look at what the Dow Jones did. The Dow Jones did what? See how the Dow Jones actually had this overall very big, that it started from there and it continued going up from there, right? So this was a very big move to the upside. So we've actually used a lot of energy. And then what did we get? We only got what? We only got, let's actually change this color here for you guys to say a red. Okay. See, we only got that move through there. Now this pullback here, this drop here, what? That's more like a refueling phase, right? It's like it's refueling again to get ready to go for another move. Now, as you can see, right, this is like going on a very big trip with a car, right? Think about this as a car here, and we've used a lot of fuel, and we've almost ran out of fuel up here. We stopped at the service station, we jumped in here, we only had this little pullback, and guess what? And that's maybe like a quarter of a tank. And then guess what? You hopped in the car again and you try to go for another move and then now it's failing. Why is this failing? Because we only had a little drop after a very big move up. It's an energy field, right? So we need a lot more of a time phase, a lot more of a sideways phase, right? To get into the market, to really understand that right now, what's happening is that we just haven't had enough time going sideways to refuel to go for another very big move because we're already in for a very big move. And so that's the reason why the Dow Jones is dropping right now. That's the reason why we got this complete fake out. And you'll see this pattern happening again and again and again across all markets. Very big move up. You've used a lot of energy. Now the market, it's probably not ready and you're probably going to go through a lot of what? Just now, a lot of gyrations, a lot of volatility going sideways. I don't expect a big crash, but a lot of sideways period before it goes up again. That's where traders, if you're ever looking for trades that's likely to have very big moves, then you need a long extended period of sideways movement before you get that. For you guys that are watching me around at the start of the year, you know I called gold. Now, why was gold such a really big move, right? And I'm talking about this from a perspective. Why was gold such a big move? Because guess what? Gold was coming off the back of what? See this? Look at all that. See that sideways movement there? And then we got this big breakout. Why was gold such a big breakout? Because guess what? We had this as the energy, right? So we used a little bit of energy. Then we had a lot of time going sideways, didn't we? Refueling to guess what? To go for another move. So my number one pattern that I'm always looking for is always, are we going sideways for a long extended period of time? Because if we're going sideways, then when we do get the breakout, that breakout pattern could be getting ready for another really big move up, right? And so, but the opposite is true. If we only have a little pullback, then we can start to look at false breakouts and so on and so forth. So if I go back to the markets here, I'll go back to gold here in just a minute. But if I go back to this gold pattern here, the Dow Jones, you can see the reason why the Dow Jones is doing what it's doing right now. So if we look at that through there, let's go now look at the Nasdaq, right? And the Nasdaq is pretty much the exact same thing, right? We had this very big move up, and then we had this little pullback, and now we're getting ready to go again. It's just like, to me, it's probably not getting ready to go again through there. If we look at the S&P 500, look what's happened here, right? Same sort of thing. We come up, we've rallied back up, and look what happened here. We had all this up leg. Now we only had this little pullback through here, and now we try to run to a new high again. Massive probability what? That we're likely to have at least another. We're likely to have this coming on. Likely to have this going on. Not a big crash, right? To do what? To start to just continue developing time. It hasn't had enough of a refueling phase, which if the market's going up a lot, the refueling phases are what? Pullback. That's why you can see through here. Look at all through there. And then we had what? Then we had a really good long extended period of sideways / going down through here. That's the reason why we had a very big move, because we had a lot of time going through. That's called a time phase, right? If you follow Gann stuff and so on and so forth. But this is called price and time. Price phases and time phases. So understanding what I just said there, that's the reason why right now there's a massive probability, and why I've been bearish now this last week or so, especially on the market, saying false breakout. So the everything drop is starting in my point of view, right? We're getting this through here. You can see, and you start to get a sense of false breakouts in the markets, right? Because false breakouts are what? A true breakout is when the market breaks out and it runs straight away. If I go back to gold, right, look at this here, right? When gold had this breakout, it broke out and it started to move straight away, right? It didn't stop. This is a big thing. When you start to notice breakouts of patterns, this is where, guys, sometimes I'll get into a breakout because I do. That's my actual trading strategy. If you're looking to learn my trading strategy, join my next webinar. I'm actually running a webinar today. That first thing in the description there, guys, I'll teach you my webinar. I'll teach on that there. It goes for about 60 minutes, and I actually walk you through step by step my actual trading system. So we can see through here when the market breaks out, okay, when the market does break out, if it breaks out and it doesn't move, like we don't actually just continue up, it's probably going to fail. So sometimes I will get into a trade and it doesn't move. Like if I show you an example here of a false breakout pattern, this is this one here. Now the reason why this is good, because if you do trade the breakouts, I actually traded this breakout here, guys, right? I traded this breakout. We had this sideways period here. So I said, okay, we're now getting ready for a move. What ended up happening, right? The market didn't do anything for about a week. When the market does this, when the market starts to do nothing after the breakout, the market's telling you this is a false breakout. It's not moving. A true breakout might go sideways for 1 or 2 days and then continue. But if it goes sideways for 2 or 3 or 4 days, That I know for me, it's my time to get out, which I did. I actually made 10% return on this trade, and I got out fast because I knew it was going to be a false breakout move. Make sense? So this is also based on trade management too, right? So if you do trade breakouts, just know what happens afterwards. The market's telling you, is this a true breakout or is it a false breakout? So if we go back to the S&P 500, look what we see through here. The S&P 500 had a breakout, but now we're just going sideways. What is that telling you? It's a false breakout pattern, right? We broke out and we're just going sideways through here. Now, what does that mean? We're probably going to drop down and we're probably going to spend a bit of time going down through here, right? So I don't expect, this is the last level of support through here, guys. And then obviously we have this level of resistance through here. If we do get the false breakout pattern through here, there's probably a really good chance we're going to have a move back down towards, we're probably going to see maybe a weakness coming into the markets, around a 5% or so drop out of the markets now coming through here. I've always expected to see that, guys. I've always expected to see a bit of a shake and bake over the next few months, because I do see that towards the end of the year, we're probably going to have a very big move to the upside, especially after the election. If we're going to get that, we needed what? We need a lot of time, right? We need a lot of refueling first before we see that very big up move. So false breakout patterns are happening here on the indices. If we go look at the Russell, guys, like check out this Russell pattern. So the Russell is actually doing something different, right? So the Russell here, and let me just make this thinner, right? I like my thin lines, guys. I like my thin lines. Do you like, guys? Do you like them thin or thick? Well, she said thick. Anyway. So if I'm looking at the Russell chart now, what's the Russell? The Russell, this is the reason why the Russell could be getting ready for a really big move. Because why? The Russell's done nothing, right? What has the Russell been doing and what has it done? See how the Russell really hasn't been going anywhere for what is that? This is now what? We're going on now over the last about probably close to 6 months. So 6 months of not doing anything. The Russell really didn't have a big up move, has it? I see how the Russell's different. So the Russell, even though the other indices are creating false breakouts, we may get a bit of down move. But the Russell, the one thing I'm watching out for the Russell is that we've just been going really sideways here. And we've got this major level of resistance around 210. If we can hold here and do something like this and then get a bit of a breakout, we're coming off the back of it not doing anything, right? It's just up and down, up and down, up and down. A lot of gyrations, right? A lot of gyrations. And if I look at the same pattern, right? Remember I said before, guys, like the trading to me is all about patterns, right? So I'm always trying to recognize the patterns in my mind about, okay, is this a false breakout? Is this a true move? What's happening here? And whenever we do get, once again, guys, if we have a very big move up and we get a little pullback and then we go for another big move up to the upside, breaking above the high, there's a massive probability that that's going to be a false breakout and we come back down through here, right? That's what we saw on the S&P 500. That's the reason why the Dow Jones has been dropping. Same sort of thing, right? So we're going through these patterns here. And if you have a look at this, is exactly what happened on the on the Russell, right? Look at this here. So the Russell had a very big move up, had a little pullback. It tried to go for another big move up, but then what? Failed. Why did it fail? Because we hadn't had enough time yet. We had enough time. Now we're doing this here. We could now we've actually had this sideways phase. Now we're getting ready potentially that we've been doing nothing for 6 months. We now could be getting ready for a really big move. So the Russell is the outlier. One actually is the outlier for that through there. So on the back of what I just said there, if you start to look at things like, see this, it's the exact same thing, right? It's the exact same pattern, isn't it? Right, look at this here and the reason why I was actually now saying that it's not ready yet. Look at this very big up move. Same thing. Like this is the exact same thing the Dow Jones did, didn't it? Then we had the pullback. Then we tried to go for another up move and then look, completely failed, didn't it? Why did it fail? Because this whole thing through here, this is your only refueling stage. We need what? We need a lot more, right? We probably need something like this going on before we actually get for another big move, right? Remember, this was the sideways movement before the big up move. That's the reason why we had the big move up move, and that's one of the reasons why I was so confident calling it, because we had all this sideways, which is fueling up to go for another move, right? So we potentially need something like that as well too. Looking at now also the silver market. The silver market actually has, if I'm looking at the silver market, there's actually, it may actually still have a little bit more movement to the upside. we definitely do have a lot of resistance around the $34 level. So we may be getting ready for one more little push to the upside before we start to see that, or maybe that's all she wrote, and we're going to start to see this thing start to go through a lot of gyrations all through here, right? Because you can see here, right? Look at this here, up, down, up, really good pullback, and then up again as well too. And then that's the same thing for also, guys, looking at the mining sector, right? So looking at the mining sector. Look what's happening through here, right? We had a very big up move, and now the mining sector is right at this level, especially the GDX, right at this massive level of resistance through here. So we're probably likely to start to see a bit of a rejection point through here, because we've actually already done like a really big up move. Look at all this up move. So this is one big up phase. So this one big up phase is now probably going to now we're probably going to start to see 50% pullbacks, probably down through here somewhere, right? So the everything drop in the markets from there. So traders, when it comes down to trading the markets, we're always worried about crashes, right? So check this out. This is a PowerPoint here of screenshots of happened in the actual stock market crashes here. Okay, so the thing for me, guys, once again, trading the markets for me is all that pattern recognition. It's not about understanding fundamentals, because you can't trade the fundamentals, right? It's all about trading patterns. See what I did there just in today's coaching video for you. What did I do? I walked you through why was the Dow Jones a false breakout? Why is the S&P likely to be a false breakout? Why did gold not follow through? It's the exact same pattern, right? We had a very big up move. We now need a long time phase, a long sideways phase to refill again. When you don't get that, you get these false breakout patterns, right? So you can see here on the stock market is that looking at the actual market itself, whenever I'm seeing the market starts to change trend, right? Starts to change the trend. So what I mean by change trend is this. In an upward trend, what do we have? There's higher lows, right? Higher lows and higher highs. As soon as we start to break a low through here, the buyers are no longer in control, and this is when we can start to see potentially a strong downward phase through here, right? So whenever the market is an upward trend and we actually break the low, we're not, because the most important part to me is what? Higher low, higher low, higher low. If we don't make a higher low and we break a lower low, the market's telling us this is now a changing trend, and we could start to see a bit of a down move. So to keep it really simple for you guys in today's coaching video, that if we have a look at this level through here, right? If we have a look at this here, you'll notice here on all these different crashes, and let me see if I can make this a bit bigger for you guys. And that's what she said. Can you make it bigger for me? Anyway, we can see through here, right? Look at this here. So if we look at the 1929 crash, what happened? Low, higher low. Look what happened. Lower low, lower high, and we broke that low, right? And so if there's going to be any sort of really strong selling period, when was it? It was after what? We got the lower low, lower high. 1962 crash. Higher low, higher low, higher low. It actually made the same low, but look what happened. That's when we actually break the low, and then we end up getting this really big strong selling leg. 1966 crash. Low, higher low, lower low, lower high, and then we started to see this pin through here. The 1987 crash. Low, higher low, higher low. It actually made a higher low, but look at here. It failed, made a lower high, and broke the low. As soon as we broke the low, guess what? No longer in an upward trend. And then we saw the big move down. 2008 crash. Low, higher low, higher low, higher low. It came down, made a lower low, rallied up to make a lower high. And then guess what? Then the market had this move through here. And then the 2008 Bitcoin crash. Higher low, higher low, higher low, lower low, lower high. This was the sign we're likely to start to see, and we know what happened. Bitcoin actually continued down from there, didn't it? So what I'm sharing with you guys right now, what I'm showing you right now is that when we start to get this movement, that's when you need to be, that's when the market starts to roll over, when we start to make these lower low, lower high patterns I'm sharing with you right now, that this is when we need to start to be really worried about the market actually having a crash But until then, guys, don't be worried about a stock market crash. What we're seeing right now, these false breakout patterns just simply means that we've just done too much price, we've done too much energy, and we just need to have a bit of a pullback to go sideways more, to have a bit more pullback, so that we can refuel to go for another move. So right now, when we're not in a crash market phase, the market's not going to crash anytime soon, right? We're not getting that just yet. But all we're getting right now is false breakouts because we haven't had enough energy. We're now going to pull back right now just to get a nice pullback, just to refuel again to go for another up move. So I hope this helps you out today, traders. Once again, guys, if you would like to learn my trading strategy, first link in the description, you can actually get access to a webinar that I'm running where you can learn my trading system and how I actually trade the markets based off the sideways phase I told you today. And also, if you'd like to join my inner circle, then that second link in the description, you can apply for that to get private coaching from me. Speak to you soon, guys.